Demolished with the advent of computer technology and so on. You know, to maybe engage in a bit of oversimplification, education up to the present has largely been based on a model or a set of models that are geared towards storage and retrieval of information. That may have been fine up to a certain point. And certainly there will always be certain amounts of information that should be stored and memorized. But you know yourself, in so many fields, what we considered in the past to be truths were found to be not so true or completely false. When I was in elementary school, I was taught that the atom was the smallest particle. Well, look at what has happened in the last 50, 60 years in terms of that notion. So not only do we have the problem of today's truths being tomorrow's falsehoods, there are some fields where within a few years the amount of new knowledge supersedes what was known up to the point that at some point in the past. For example, there are certain fields of engineering where what college students are expected to learn represents knowledge that didn't exist 4 years ago. Now, when I was in my doctoral studies, I was completely surprised when I found that knowledge was doubling every 8 years. Anytime there's a new discovery or the generation of new knowledge, any place on this planet, it's recorded in the Library of Congress. Today, that doubling of knowledge is occurring every 8 months. So if you have this burgeoning of knowledge, how could it be possible for an educational system that's based on storage and retrieval to ever be able to keep up with that phenomenon? We can have immediate access to any fact that's known in any place on this planet. So we don't have to try to memorize all of that. We have to know how to gain access to that information should we need it. What we really need is to be able to learn and to see learning as a lifelong phenomenon, and to be able to identify what periods of one's life is it best to learn what kinds of processes and information. We know, for example, well, the old data I had, or the old research information I had, and this was from Wilder Penfield at the Montreal Neurological Institute. This was back in the 70s, that he was a scientist who discovered the language center of the brain. And it's given exclusively to language acquisition between 8 months of age and 8 years of age. Well, I just found out a couple days ago that there's more recent research that has narrowed that time frame between 4 months of age and 4 years of age, after which that part of the brain is given to generalized functions. If that's the case, then high school is far too late to introduce a second or third or fourth language. It's been demonstrated that children before the age of 5 can be introduced to several languages and master them, because by the age of 2, They've already mastered all of the major transformations of the first language that the child is exposed to. And by the age of 2.5 or 3, the child could have a vocabulary of between 2,000 and 4,000 words. This is very abstract stuff, and historically, educators have thought that, well, abstractions are too far out of reach for preschool and lower elementary age students.